Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about some of the best books that I have read in 2021 so far. So it's really hot in here guys. I don't know if you can see how sweaty I am right now. I have all of my windows open. I can't have the fan on because it'll just be too loud, and I really don't like the heat. I don't like summer at all. I can't cope with it, and I'm not having a good day. I couldn't put all of my makeup on because I was just going to be sweating it off. So I apologise for that. But as I said, today's video is about some of the best books that I have read in 2021 so far, and I have read a lot of really good books over the last few months, the past 6 months in fact. I can't believe we're in July already. It's absolutely wild how fast this year is going. But I'm going to talk about some of my favourite books from this year, books that I've probably raved about a lot on my channel already. So if you don't want to hear me repeating everything I've said before, then don't watch this video. The first book that I am going to talk about, and I'm going to get this one out of the way now because, yeah, I've talked about it a lot. That is The Midnight Library. So this is so far currently still my all-time favourite book of this year. I read this back in January, absolutely loved it. It was a very quick and easy read, but it was also a very emotional read. It's probably one of the only books that I have read this year so far that has kind of really resonated with me in some way, just because of the subject matter, the themes that it deals with. And I think it's a book that a lot of people will be able to relate to in some way. But yeah, I mean, I love Matt Haig anyway. I always enjoy the stuff that he puts out, but this is probably one of his best works. I wouldn't say it's as good as The Humans, but it is definitely one of my all-time favourite books in the world right now. This one is just all about a magical library, essentially. We're following this young woman who attempts suicide, but she kind of ends up in the in between life and death, so limbo pretty much, and she wakes up in this library that has alternate versions of your life, and that concept just sounds really cool. I think it was done really well. It had this kind of element of fairy tale to it at times, which I really liked. It felt very magical and it felt very kind of exciting and adventurous, some of the things that happen. Yeah, I just really loved how this book played out. I loved how it ended. I just love everything about it, and I will not stop talking about it until the day I die. I probably will still talk about it after I die. When I come back as a ghost, I'll just annoy people and tell them to read this book. I really liked this one a lot, if you didn't know already. A lot. Next we have a book that was probably the biggest surprise of 2021 because it's a genre that I don't really like. I mean, I'm kind of starting to like it a lot more, and I think that's because I'm exploring new themes and things in my reading, whatever. But this book was a big surprise for me, and I didn't think that I would love it as much as I did. But oh my, this book was a roller coaster, and that is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq. So this book is all about a young girl who is indigenous to Canada. She's part of an Inuit tribe, and this book touches upon a lot of different themes like childhood and the earth and the elements and people's relationships with animals, and also what it's like to live in a tribe. It talks about feminism, and sexual violence and violence against women and things like that. There is a lot of very heavy topics talked about in this book. This book is also a mixture of like poetry and prose. It's very lyrical. Tanya Tagaq is a what is she? She is an Inuit throat singer, and I have seen some of her stuff on YouTube, and It's really unusual, but it's also really, really intriguing and pretty cool. And I think she is super, super talented, and her writing definitely reflects the passion that she has for her culture, and for her love of nature and earth and things like that. This book was just incredible, and I read it in one sitting. I mean, it is a short book anyway, but it was just amazing from start to finish. I couldn't put it down. And yeah, I was really surprised by how much I loved this. I love the magical realism in this book. And that is something that I have been delving into a little bit more, books with magical realism, and some of them I have meshed with and some of them I haven't. This one I definitely meshed with. I really understood it. I understood what she was trying to say. I really liked the points she was making. And I just loved how weird it was at times. You know, there were some scenes that just really stick with me, that were just really, really bizarre. But also kind of wonderful. You know, there was just a lot going on. I felt a lot of things, and I really hope she writes some more stuff, because this was just incredible. She's a very talented writer, and I really encourage everyone to pick this up. It's probably not a book for everyone. Go and check out the content warnings for this, because like I said, it does deal with a lot of heavy topics. But, you know, definitely a contender for one of the best books of the year. Next we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and this is a book that I have been wanting to read for such a long time, and I finally got around to it. My cousin kindly gifted this book to me. This one was very intense, and it went in a direction that I was not expecting it to go in, to be honest. I thought I knew what was going to happen. I had this theory, I thought I was right, and then I got to the end and Blake Crouch just gives you this massive punch of a plot twist, and yeah, like, I loved it so much. This is probably one of the best sci-fi books I have ever read. This is all about a guy called Jason who goes out one night to the pub. He tells his wife he's going to be an hour and then he'll get home. But then on his way back from the pub, he gets kidnapped by someone, and then when he wakes up, he gets drugged and kidnapped, and then when he wakes up, he realises, that he has woken up in a world that is completely different to his own. Everyone knows who he is, everyone knows that he's Jason, you know, they're talking to him like they know him, but he doesn't know who they are. And yeah, let's just say this book will take you on an adventure you will not be prepared to go on. And I thought I was ready for some crazy time travel, alternate reality shit, but I wasn't. But yeah, I really, really liked this. One of my favourite things about this book was the writing, and how you could tell that the author was having such a fantastic time while writing this. I really got a sense of his enthusiasm, of his enjoyment of putting the story together and unravelling it for the reader, and just throwing in those twists and turns and those clues, all of the red herrings, you know, that make you think one thing, takes you off in one direction, but actually you're going in a completely different direction. It was just really, really interesting, and I'm really excited to read Blake Crouch's other book, which is called Recursion. I've heard amazing things about that one. Next up, we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and this is one of the best ghost stories I have ever read. So this one is all about a woman called Maggie who inherits the house that her family owned. So her parents bought this house, which was dubbed the House of Horrors, because when they lived there, some strange things were happening which made them flee. And her father wrote a book all about the House of Horrors, and Maggie has always been known as the young child from that book, and she never really knew herself what happened, but there's this whole mystery surrounding a missing girl, and things like that. And so when her father dies, he leaves her this house, and she ends up going back there to kind of renovate it. And yeah, strange things start going on and she eventually finds out what happened. It was a lot of fun, this one. This one is a very interesting twist on the haunted house trope. I never get bored of haunted houses, but a lot of them can be, you know, very repetitive, very samey. A lot of the same things are going on, and then when it gets to the end, you know, it doesn't pay off that well, but this one definitely did. And the twist at the end was very unexpected, and again, it's another one that I didn't see coming. I thought I had a theory, I thought I knew what I was gonna get at the end, and Riley Sager just completely took my theory and ripped it to shreds and hit me with this conclusion that I really, really loved. This is only the second book that I have read by Riley Sager, and I definitely think this is one of the best thrillers slash ghost stories I have read in a very long time. I am very intrigued in his other books. A lot of them are on my TBR, but I don't think anything is gonna come as close to this, if I'm honest. It was just everything that I wanted and more, and I kind of wish that I had saved it for Halloween because it had that perfect atmosphere, those really great spooky vibes that I absolutely love in these kind of books. But you know what, I'm still really glad that I read it, and it's still one of my absolute favourites of 2021 so far. Alright, so next we've got a little bit of romance, and we have got Hani and Ishu's Guide to Fake Dating, and this is a very recent read for me. I read this for Pride Month, and wow, I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did. I do really enjoy romances when I read them, but I never really rate them anything higher than a 3 or a 4 star, just because I've never really found a romance that has absolutely blown me away and just made me feel so many things. But this book really, really ticked all of the boxes for me, and I just really, really loved the idea of this fake dating scenario between two girls in school. I don't usually like the fake dating trope, but this one just really, really did it for me. This is all about Hani and Ishu, who set up a fake relationship in order to get what they want. So Hani you know, wants to prove to her friends that she is bisexual and that she is dating a girl, and Ishu wants to become popular and wants to be head girl. So yeah, they hook up, they pretend hook up, and a lot of fun antics ensue. This book is very frustrating, but it's also very cute, very emotional at times, and I was smiling the entire time I read this. I flew through this book. It was just so entertaining and so engaging. I loved the writing style. It was just so simplistic but really, really effective, and the author just got across her points. I also loved the inclusion of Muslim and Bangladeshi culture in this book. It was a very interesting, it created a very interesting dynamic between the characters and other people around them and their families as well. And it was great to see how their sexualities were affected by religion and vice versa. But you know, this book is very positive and it does send out a very positive message, and I just really encourage everyone to read it. It's such a lovely little sapphic romance, and I really, really want to read The Henna Wars now. I've heard incredible things about that one, so yeah, this is another book that could be a contender for my favourite book of the year. Okay, lastly, I have another book that I read in June, and it was very difficult to decide between this one and Hani and Ishu what my favourite book of June was, but that is The Minders by John Marrs. I have read 3 books by John Marrs now, and all 3 of them have been exceptional thrillers, and I feel like he can do no wrong at this point, but this one is so cool. It's such a great thriller because it has this really cool concept of like these 5 people who become minders. The government has selected them to have very sensitive UK security information implanted in their heads in order to kind of, you know, counteract cyber terrorism, stop people getting hold of things that they shouldn't. These people essentially have to live anonymous lives, you know, they leave their families and friends behind and they're constantly on the move around the UK. And it's a very interesting look into how these characters deal with that situation, because they all deal with it very differently. They're all very different people from very different backgrounds, parts of the UK. Some of them have kids, some of them don't have kids, some of them are married, some of them aren't, you know, some of them are young, old, and they all have different situations thrown at them that kind of compromise what they're tasked to do, and it's just great to see how they deal with that. There are a lot of twists and turns in this, and as I've said before with previous books by John Marrs, he always leaves chapters on a cliffhanger, so it's very difficult to stop reading because you just have to know what is happening next. And yeah, this is another book that went in a direction that I was not expecting it to go in. I loved it a lot, and one of my favourite things about this book as well is that it includes plot points from The Passengers and The One, so you're kind of, you know, John Marrs is creating this very rich world in which he writes in, and it makes it very believable, a lot more real, and I'm really excited to see what else he brings out, because I just think, you know, as I said, I feel like he can do no wrong at this point, and I'm just so excited every time I read his stuff. Alright guys, so those are all of my favourite books of 2021 so far. I mean, there are a few more that I could add to the list, but all of these are 5-star books. All of the books that I have mentioned in the video have been 5 stars and have just absolutely blown me away. I don't know how many more times I can say that, but I am going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books that I have mentioned in today's video and what you thought of them, whether they're some of your favourite books as well or not. I always love to hear your opinions. Also, feel free to let me know what your favourite books of 2021 are so far. I'm very interested to see what people have been enjoying, and maybe I can add them to my never-ending TBR list. Please leave a cheeky thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos from me in the future, and I will see you all in my next video very soon, guys. Bye.